What's going on, guys? Chandler's Legacy Farm here. So today I'm going to unpack a few things about this Outdoor Element blade. So this might run a little long, but I'm gonna try to get this all in here. So a good friend of mine messaged me about the video I done on this blade yesterday, and he brought up a few valid questions. Okay, now a lot of hunters out there may disagree with every bit of my logic here. I just know from what I've done. You know what I'm saying? My experiences. So there was some valid points brought up about this knife. Now, a lot of people do not hunt. They do not know, about how to process something like a white-tailed deer, an antelope, a mule deer, an elk. I've never processed an elk. I've only processed mule deer, whitetail, and antelope. Okay, that is what I've processed. Now I've cleaned turkeys and squirrels and rabbits. Stuff like that. I've done. Let's see, coons, coyotes. Fur-bearing animals. But anyway, everyone's different. Everyone has a different opinion. You're not right and you're not wrong. You are either, you're either just doing things the way you were taught, or you're doing things the best way you know how. Not everyone was born into a place where, into a situation where, whenever they turned 16, someone handed them a $500 knife and said, "Here you go. This is the best of the best." No, some of us were born and raised using knives that were the best that we could afford. You know what I'm saying? So not all of us had the luxury of having something that was already outstanding. You know what I mean? So, and I'll get more into that later. But this comment that I got from one of my viewers was a comment, asking some of the logic behind this blade. Okay, now let's move some of this stuff around a little bit so I have a little more room. I've got some comparisons here, and I have some explaining to do just about different things. So one of the first things that he said about this blade, I'll show you the blade. This is the Phoenix Talon from Outdoor Element. Okay, so this is the blade. One of the first things that was asked, it's got a little striker here. So he asked, see, it's got a little striker right here, like a lighter. So one of the first things he asked was, how are you going to sharpen something, and why did they make it a recurve? Okay, he understood that why this was like it is, because you don't want a real pointy knife because you don't want to poke through the hide. Okay, when you poke through the hide, then hair falls through that hole and you get hair all over your meat. Okay, you don't want the hair all over your meat. You want to try to keep your meat as clean as possible as you're pulling the hide off of your game. Okay, so you, with this basically dubbed off point, you won't poke through your meat or your hide near as easily. Okay, and he said, why the recurve? Because see, it does have sort of a recessed recurve situation going on here. Okay, and he said that's why a recurve? Because it's so much harder to sharpen in the field. Well, I have got one of these. This is the Work Sharp. This is the Work Sharp, they call it pocket knife sharpener, okay? And see that ceramic rod there on the end? You can just hold this knife and use that ceramic rod, and you can run that ceramic rod right around this to sharpen it, okay? You just kind of hold it on the angle you think you need, and you just kind of go with it. You know what I mean? Things don't have to be perfect, and that's where everyone goes wrong. That's where a lot of people think that things have to be perfect, okay? They don't. As long as it's cutting, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to have that perfect mirror polished edge on it. As long as it is cutting, it's doing its job, right? So if you have one of these, you can keep this blade honed up as you're using it in the field, okay? Now, this thing did come with, let me pull this knife out too. This thing did come with a little sharpener on the side of the sheath here, okay? Well, it's nice and narrow, so you can do the same thing with it. You can You know what I mean? You can sharpen your blade like that, okay? This one, see how narrow that is? You do the same thing. And that's how you can sharpen this blade in the field, okay? Just like that, then you can hone it out. All right? Just like that. So this I understand what he's getting at. Why make that recurve right here? Why make that curvature right there? It's to make it harder to get to. Well, most of the time when you're cleaning something, you're going to be out here on this belly right here, okay? Or you're going to be closer to the tip or out on the belly. You're not going to be down in here anyway, okay? But that kind of solves some of the issue with sharpening this blade. Is if you have something like this, and like I said, since Outdoor Element did design this so narrow, this stone so narrow, you can do the same thing with the side of the sheath, okay? But if you have one of these, I think this will work, you know, even better. So you can just kind of keep it honed up as you're going, okay? So as long as you're not chopping into hard bone and you're literally doing what you're supposed to be doing, just taking off the meat, you're going to be okay. All right. So let's see. That addresses the sharpening portion of his question. Okay. Why have a grind like that with that thickness? Okay. This blade is thick. Okay. Well, the grind doesn't matter as long as the edge is relatively sharp. The grind itself doesn't matter, because I have saw people field dress a deer and clean a deer with stuff like this, the Buck 119. People here in the United States do it all the time. You know, this is what they use, and a lot of people use this stuff like that. Me, whenever I was growing up and I was a kid, my dad didn't want me to carry a large blade like that. So the very first deer I ever field dressed, I field dressed it with this little knife here. This is the sharp finger, and this is an old one. I mean, this thing is old. It's an old timer Charade USA 152 model. I mean, it's old. But that was my first actual hunting knife, you know, other than the ones that my father made me. You know, and it was you know, pretty thin stock, and it worked fine. But then I moved from that because I wanted something with a gut hook. Whenever you're field dressing large game, and if you have ever used a blade that has got a gut hook on it, you don't ever want to go back. This is a cheap Winchester knife that I bought from Walmart whenever I was probably 20 years old. Probably 20, somewhere around there. Cheap Winchester knife, came from Walmart. I've carried this and I have cleaned every deer since I've got this blade. That every deer that I have field dressed since I've owned this knife has been field dressed with this blade because of that gut hook. You get in here with the blade, you make a small incision about that long, okay? About that long, right there is how long of an incision you need. Okay, into that deer's stomach. Then you're going to turn it around and you're going to put this inside of that deer's stomach, and you're going to rip it right up to the rib cage. And this one I have ripped up through the ribs, you know, to get up inside that chest cavity to remove the esophagus, the heart, the lungs, all that. So, and then look at the stock thickness. It's thick, you know, look at it against this buck. They're about the same. So stock thickness and grind, you know, doesn't matter as much as long as your edge is sharp, you know, it's going to work is what I'm getting at. So even though this has got a kind of a weird grind situation going on, it's still going to work. And it has got a replaceable gut hook. You can see here it has a replaceable gut hook, and it came with an extra gut hook, and it is actually inside this handle. I've got a lot of stuff inside this handle that I will take it apart and show that on a different video coming up very soon on my Firecraft video. But so what I'm getting at with this, the grind and the thickness, as long as it's relatively sharp, you're going to be fine. I mean, you can field dress a deer with a sharp rock if you know what you're doing. As far as just field dressing, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to cutting the meat off the bone, whenever you're deboning, you know, and you have your deer hanging up, whether you hang it from the head or from the feet, I always hang mine from the back feet. Some people hang them from the head. It's just whatever, however you were taught, however you've learned, you know, and what makes it easier for you. So what I'm saying is, it's all in how you've been taught. Okay, now it says the grind thickness. Another question he had was the hole is, why have a giant hole in it and have the integrity of the blade compromised because of this giant hole? Well, this giant hole, like I was saying with this blade here, whenever you make that incision into a deer and you turn this blade around and you pop it down in that deer, you've got to have a hell of a lot of grip on this blade in order to pull that up through the deer's stomach and then up into the ribs. Okay, you got to have a lot of strength here. With that hole, you can run your pinky through that hole. See here, you can run that pinky through your hole, through that hole, and then whenever you're pulling up through there, it gives you more to pull, and you're not as liable to lose the knife whenever you're pulling. Okay, gives you more grip. You've got something in there. You could probably even run a different finger through it if you needed to, but you run your pinky through it, then you can go straight up through the deer, because you start between the deer's legs right at its privates. You've got the deer's legs spread apart, one leg over each shoulder, and then you're whipping straight up the belly and straight up through the ribs. And whenever you have your finger through this hole, just like that, you've got more pull, more pressure, not as liable to lose the knife, make the knife go flying, cut yourself, cut your partner, whatever. So you can see this is the type of knife that I've always preferred. So whenever I start using this blade, I'm sure I'm going to love it because it's already something that I am used to. You know what I'm saying? So that in that aspect, the hole is it just gives you more strength, more grip to do things. You know what I mean? Just like I was saying. And whenever you're making those long swooping cuts and you're cutting on a deer, you can stick your thumb through this hole, okay, to make those long swooping cuts around the hide. As you're pulling that hide down, you got to be cutting, okay? You're pulling the hide down and you're cutting. It gives you different options for how you want to hold this blade, and it's got jipping on the spine right here. It goes all the way down to there, so you can grip up tight on this blade, and you can actually stick your finger through that hole like this to hold the blade to get up closer to the tip. The hole actually has got a hell of a great purpose to it when it comes to cleaning game. That hole is really nice because it's just a different way that you can grip the knife without being stuck in this position only, and you just have a better grip on the blade because you've got your finger through it. Okay, I like a hole in a blade when it comes to a cleaning, a cleaning knife. So there's the reasoning for the hole. And now I understand that they think, they're trying to cross over cleaning game with batoning or with firecraft also. Okay. But you can still baton this blade. There's enough here to hit, you can still baton it. Now I would be gentle to not, hit it up here, but there's still some strength right there. Okay. I would be gentle. Okay. Now this blade here, you can baton it if you wanted to get into smaller wood, because you can go on. Let me figure out how I'm gonna get to this. All right, I got this blade laying here to show you the same thing. Let me go ahead and show you this one too. That's how I sharpen this blade. All right, this is the Kershaw Camp 10. I sharpen this recurve blade the same way, just like that. That's the way I sharpen this great big blade. All right, and if I need to use a stone, I can use the stone the same way. You know what? You know what I mean? It works to do it that way. That's why I brought out the big Camp 10. And you can tell I have used this blade. I just cleaned it up so it'd be a little shiny and to keep it from rusting. So great blade, great camp knife all the way. It will strike fire steels. It will scratch fat wood. Great blade all the way around. This is handy as it can be. All right. And the field sharpener, the one that's a little larger than this, that has the leather strap on it, it would work also, but this one just works better for a recurve because the stone is so narrow. Okay, now let's get into something else here. let's get into something else. Get some of this stuff out of the way. So you can go on Outdoor Elements website, and they have got something called the Hunter's Dream Bundle. It comes with this sheath, with both of these sheaths already bolted together, just like this. Because I already had the Phoenix feather. I already had this anyway. All right. But then whenever I got to investigating how this whole system works, that's whenever I found the Hunter's Dream Bundle. So this will go into here, and then that small sheath clips onto this sheath. So therefore, you've got a double rig system. All right, small knife, large knife system. Okay, and it does have a great pocket clip on the back, or belt clip. And I've carried this around on my belt yesterday evening a little bit, and it doesn't get in the way I've got this bolted on there. And there's different ways. You could actually bolt this upside down too, where this knife is facing down instead of up. There's different ways of bolting it on there, but this is my preferred way of bolting this on there. And so you get this blade, and you get this knife. This is part of the Hunt series also. This one is the Field Feather. Okay, this is the Field Feather little razor knife. Okay, so you could use this one for your basic tasks, any average knife tasks, and this one would be for your field dressing of the game. And then you could also use this for skinning. So think field dressing, skinning, and then whenever you need to really get into some fine work, say you're caping out the deer's head because you want to have a mount done, and you're needing to cape it out and you need to cut around the eyes, you need to cut around the nose, the mouth, the ears, the real small places you got to get a knife into, and you do not want to cut through that hide, but the hide is so thin it's very hard to do. That's where this little blade comes in, okay? This little razor blade. And this comes with, inside of here, inside of this sheath, this great sheath anyway, is a good sheath. You get a little Outdoor Element thing here that opens up. I've already showed this on a previous video, but I want to show it again because this is part of that Hunter's Dream Bundle. Okay, so you get all these extra blades. You get some fire tinder. This is actual fire tinder that you just kind of rip and fluff up, and then you have fire tinder. And it also comes with these blades here for your small, little, fine precision cutting of getting around the lips, the eyes, the ears. So, and to change the blade, you just push this down, and wait a minute. Yeah, you push that down, and then you push this button, and then the blade slides right off. And that's how quick and easy it is to change the blade. You just flip that little thing back up. There you go. You've changed the blade. All right. It's got some jipping up here. It's a liner lock, and it does have one of those little strikers on it also. So you have a striker on this knife and a striker on that knife. You have fire tinder that comes with this knife. I have got some fire tinder tabs inside the handle of this knife, which I'll show you on a different video when I do the fire testing. But I just wanted to show everyone. Let me see. Let me take this back off. I just wanted to show everyone that this, you can get this bundle from Outdoor Element, and then you will have every blade that you would need to completely do anything you need to do with something like a white-tailed deer, So all of these knives would work out fantastic, right? So there we go. I got it locked back in. Close it back down. There we go. Part of the Hunt series. So great case, great little case this thing comes with. It's got a little bit of you can run it through your belt this way, or you could run it through your belt horizontal. Either way. Great belt clip on this one. So, and also in this Hunter's Dream Bundle, so you're going to get this blade, and this blade, and you get one of their multi-tool carabiners. Okay, it's just like a clip for your keys. It has got a It's a multi-tool carabiner, so it has also got, I don't own one of those, but I can tell you all about it. It has got, it's called the Fire and Escape. It has got a little cutter on it to cut a seatbelt. It's got another one of these little strikers is on it. It has a glass breaker on it. It's got a bottle opener on it. It's got an oxygen wrench on it, and it's got a quarter inch bit wrench on it also. So you get the carabiner, you get this blade and these two blades. That is the Hunter's Dream kit, and it is $188 right now through Outdoor Element, and you can find that on outdoorelement.com. And I do have a link that will take you straight to Outdoor Element, and it will be in the description box below. And anything you purchase on there will get you 10% off if you use my promotion code, which is COWBOYBLADE in all caps COWBOYBLADE. So, and I will have everything here that I can. Let's see, the Buck 119 will be in the Amazon description box below, Amazon affiliate link below, along with the Kershaw, the knife sharpener, and these are only like $12 or $14. These are cheap, guys, and they work great, especially for these style of knives, recurve knives. So let's see, I'll probably try to find an old timer, and I'll probably link an old timer in there too. I can't link the old Winchester knife in there because they don't even make this anymore, not this exact thing anyway. So anyway, guys, all this will be, like I said, linked in the Amazon description or Amazon affiliate link down below. I just kind of wanted to explain, and hopefully I didn't go through it all too fast. I just wanted to kind of explain some of the reasoning behind the design on this, okay? And tell you guys about the Hunter's Dream bundle. So hopefully that answered a few of my viewers' questions. And that is it for this video, guys. Come back. We're going to do some, whenever we come back, we're going to do some fire testing with the Firelight stuff that I got yesterday. And so we'll be testing some of that stuff on the next video. But anyway, guys, that video will be coming up relatively soon. Same day today. But anyway, guys, we're out of here. Chandler's Legacy Farm. If you like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see ya.